Atlanta. The name sounds powerful, modern, and unstoppable. A city of glittering skyscrapers, booming industry, entertainment, and a proud legacy of the American civil rights movement. From the outside, Atlanta looks like progress, a living symbol of what the modern South claims it can be. But when the sun sets and the traffic noise fades, another Atlanta quietly takes over. One that tourists never see and city leaders don't like to talk about. On quiet nights, the shine fades and the forgotten surfaces. Tents appear under bridges, on sidewalks, behind restaurants. Some made from tarps, others just old blankets tied to shopping carts. People curl up on pieces of cardboard, using their backpacks as pillows, their bodies pressed against cold concrete walls like ghosts hiding from the world. This isn't some rare tragedy. It's daily life for thousands in Atlanta, and it's happening right next to some of the most expensive condos in the country. The numbers alone are disturbing. Over 3,000 people in Atlanta are homeless, a third of them with no shelter at all. But numbers don't show the smell of damp clothes after a storm, the sound of rats scurrying near sleeping children, or the way people's eyes stop looking at you because they're too ashamed of what they've become. Some once had jobs, families, cars, houses. One unexpected medical bill, one layoff, one eviction notice, and their lives unraveled like loose thread. Atlanta has always sold itself as affordable compared to New York or Los Angeles. But that's a lie now. Rents are soaring out of reach. A one-bedroom apartment now costs an average of $1,800 a month, and even with 2 jobs, people can't keep up. Gentrification is eating old neighborhoods alive. Areas where families lived for decades, like the old 4th Ward and parts of West End, are being bulldozed and replaced with high-end condos and artisan coffee shops. The working class doesn't just move away, they vanish. Their homes are gone, their communities fractured, and many simply end up on the streets. Even shelters can't keep up. The old Peachtree Pine Shelter, once Atlanta's largest, is gone. It didn't end homelessness, it just moved it around. Now clusters of tents pop up in places like Edgewood Avenue, Memorial Drive, and the West End. But these camps are unstable. At any moment, police or city workers can come and sweep them away, throwing out everything, clothes, blankets, sometimes even medication, and leaving people with nothing but what they can carry in a plastic bag. Homelessness here is not just about losing a roof. It's about being trapped in a cycle where every door is locked. You can't get a job because you don't have an address. You can't rent an apartment because you don't have a job. You can't even shower before an interview because there are no safe public places to do it. It's survival stripped down to its cruelest form. And then there's the law. In Atlanta, being poor feels criminal. Police patrol areas like 5 Points or downtown almost daily. People get cited for sleeping on sidewalks, for loitering, for existing in spaces designed for everyone but somehow never for them. You're homeless, so you move into an abandoned parking garage. The cops come, kick you out, and the building stays empty for another decade. That's not help, that's punishment. On a cold Tuesday night, just a mile from the golden glow of Mercedes-Benz Stadium, a man named Darren sits on the edge of a sidewalk, his hands trembling. He used to be a truck driver. "I lost my job after I got sick," he says quietly, staring at the concrete. "One surgery. One. After that, I couldn't keep up with the bills. They took the house. My wife left. Now." He waves a hand toward the small blanket and 2 trash bags behind him. "This is my life." Not far from him, Keisha, a young mother, keeps her 2 children close in a parked minivan that hasn't moved in weeks. "We sleep here," she says, her eyes red from exhaustion. "If I go to the shelter, they separate me from my kids. They say I can't keep them with me because it's full of men. So I stay here. I watch them all night, make sure no one comes near." Her little boy clings to her sleeve, whispering, "Mommy, I'm cold." She kisses his forehead and lies, "It's okay, baby. Mommy's got you." The truth is, nobody has them. Not the city, not the state, not the system. Atlanta spends millions on development projects, new stadiums, luxury apartments, and revitalization zones. But people living under bridges aren't part of the plan. Those tent communities, they're seen as an eyesore, something to be cleared before an investor tour. A homeless veteran named Marcus explains, "They came last week, threw all my shit away, everything. My pictures, my meds, gone. I told them I was a veteran. You know what they said? You can thank us for our service when you're gone." He laughs bitterly. Can you believe that? Some people here are so deep into despair, drugs become an escape. You see it on corners, in alleys. The faint smell of cheap liquor, the tiny plastic baggies, the lifeless stare of someone who's just shot up. "This keeps me warm," says Andre, a 19-year-old who ran away from foster care and now sleeps in an abandoned laundromat. His arm is covered in track marks. "It's better than feeling nothing, man. Feeling nothing hurts less." But it's not just drugs. It's fear. At night, women sleep in groups for safety. They take turns staying awake to watch for predators. Men who prey on them because they know nobody's watching. One young girl, barely 20, mutters through tears, "Last week, some guys kicked my tent open, dragged me out. Nobody came. Nobody ever comes." She wipes her face and curls up in silence, clutching a broken phone that doesn't even work. Mental illness only adds to the chaos. A man in a tattered army jacket screams at passing cars, yelling things only he can hear. Another quietly talks to himself as he carefully arranges empty soda cans like they're precious treasures. These people aren't dangerous, they're broken, left behind by a system too stretched and too cold to care. "I tried to get help," says an older man named Raymond, who suffers from schizophrenia. "They gave me pills and told me to come back in 3 weeks. 3 weeks. You know where I was in 3 weeks? Right back here, talking to myself." He forces a hollow laugh. "Guess that's cheaper than caring, huh?" And through it all, the city keeps sweeping, keeps arresting, keeps moving people like they're pieces of trash instead of human beings. There's a war no one declares, but everyone feels. On one side, Atlanta's bright skyline and booming tech economy. On the other, thousands of people like Darren, Keisha, Marcus, Andre, and Raymond, living ghosts in a city that pretends they don't exist. Early morning, a police cruiser rolls slowly down Memorial Drive. Blue lights flash, not because of a crime, but because of people trying to sleep. Officers step out wearing gloves and holding trash bags. "You guys can't stay here," one says, his voice flat and tired, like he's said it 1,000 times. A woman named Tasha clutches her belongings. A blanket, 2 photos, and a half-empty bottle of water. "Please don't take my stuff," she begs. An officer shakes his head. "We have to clear the area." Within minutes, the small camp is gone. People stand around in shock, their entire lives shoved into trash bags or simply thrown away. This isn't new. It happens every week. The city calls it cleaning operations. But the people call it something else. Destruction. A man named Lionel, who lost his construction job last year, steps forward and yells, "Where are we supposed to go? You tell me. Where?" "You don't want..." For women, safety is a daily gamble. Keisha, the mother living in her van, tried staying in a co-ed shelter once. "Never again," she says, shaking her head. "A man followed me into the bathroom. They threw him out, but that was it. What about me? What about my kids?" Mental health outreach workers try, but there aren't enough of them. "We're drowning out here," says Carlos, a social worker. "For every one person we help, there are 20 more we can't even reach." And then there's the drugs. Fentanyl, xylazine. It's everywhere. He's not exaggerating. On one corner near Peachtree, a man slumps against a wall, his lips turning blue. Someone shouts, "Call 911. A bystander rushes over with Narcan, sprays it into his nose. Minutes later, he gasps and coughs. I'm okay, he mutters, but he's not. He's just alive for now. Atlanta's streets have become open wounds. People step over bodies, sometimes assuming they're dead. Others don't even look. They've gotten used to it. Late at night near Edgewood Avenue, a group of volunteers unloads soup and blankets from the back of a pickup truck. A young woman named Sarah kneels beside a man curled up on cardboard. "Hey, you okay?" she asks softly. His eyes open slowly. "Am I okay?" He laughs bitterly. Do I look okay? I haven't eaten since yesterday. Sarah hands him a steaming bowl of soup. He stares at it like it's gold. Bless you, girl. Bless you, he whispers, tears rolling down his dirty cheeks. Nearby, a homeless veteran named Marcus shakes his head. This right here? This ain't a life. This is just waiting to die. But these volunteers, these strangers, show up every night. They hand out meals, they sit and listen. Sometimes that's all people want, to be seen. Half the city acts like we're ghosts, says Marcus. But we ain't ghosts. We still here. We just... invisible, I guess. On the other side of town, at a city council meeting, a real estate developer holds up charts showing new luxury condos. These projects will elevate Atlanta, he says proudly. In the back of the room, activists hold signs, "Housing is a human right," and "Stop the sweeps." One woman shouts, "Elevate who? Rich people. What about Keisha sleeping in her van? What about Andre freezing under a bridge?" Security escorts her out. Politics has become a battlefield. Some council members push housing-first initiatives, promising thousands of new affordable units. Others quietly lobby for stricter anti-camping laws to clear unsightly tents. And while they argue, people like Lionel keep losing everything, one trash bag at a time. A few churches try to fill the gap. In one basement, Pastor Daniels opens his doors at night. "We ain't got much," he says. "But we got coffee, we got mats, and we got love." On the wall, a sign reads, "Dignity is not optional." But even here, space is limited. By midnight, they're turning people away. Back on the streets, a group huddles under a broken streetlight. A teenager named Andre clutches a stuffed bear, the only thing he has left from his childhood. "They keep telling me to get a job," he says quietly. "I had one, man. Then my mom got sick, and I had to quit to take care of her. After she died, I had nowhere to go. I just never got back up." His voice cracks. Atlanta's duality is on full display. Shiny new skyscrapers above, broken lives below. The city's slogan boasts of being the city too busy to hate. But for thousands of homeless people, it feels like a city too busy to care. At 3 a.m., under a flickering streetlight near Memorial Drive, a siren wails. A man lies motionless on the pavement, a needle beside his hand. Paramedics rush in, their voices sharp, frantic. "No pulse. Start compressions." Another overdose, just one more in a city drowning in quiet emergencies. A volunteer watching nearby mutters under her breath, "This city is killing people, and we're just watching it happen." Across town, Keisha sits inside her van with her 2 children curled against her. Frost creeps across the windshield as she whispers, "It's okay, baby. Mommy's got you." She doesn't cry anymore. She's too tired to cry. Outside, an eviction notice flaps on the door of another apartment complex. One more building sold to developers. The city celebrates progress with ribbon cuttings and fireworks, while under every bridge, there's a different celebration. A man finds an old blanket. A woman gets a hot meal. A kid finds a dry place to sleep. These are victories no politician ever talks about. Atlanta's government claims it's fixing things. Millions spent on cleanups, more policing of problem areas. But for people like Marcus, who's been arrested 3 times simply for sleeping in public, it feels like war. "You want me gone?" he shouts one night as police dismantle his tent. "Fine. Where the hell do you want me to go? You don't build homes, you build jails. You don't see people, you see trash." A volunteer hugs him as tears streak through dirt on his cheeks. "You're not trash," she says softly, but her voice shakes because deep down, she knows the system treats him like he is. By sunrise, the city awakens again. Cars speed over bridges where people shiver beneath. Coffee shops open as Andre drags a shopping cart down the street, everything he owns rattling inside. He looks up at the skyline, at the glass towers glowing gold in the morning sun, and whispers, one day." But he doesn't finish the sentence. Maybe because he doesn't believe it anymore. This is Atlanta, 2025. A city of art, music, technology, and dreams. But also of tents, trauma, and bodies on cold pavement. A city that fought for civil rights, now struggling with human rights. A city that measures success by skyscrapers while people die on sidewalks.